So BMW these days seems to mostly be known for its controversial design, especially with that large kidney grille up front. But of course, it's traditionally known as a driver's car, and there's nothing more iconic than an M Coupe. This week, we're driving the M4 convertible. It is the competition xDrive. Let's get into it. So let's really quickly talk about the 4 Series itself and some of the trims we have here. You do have the 4 Series Coupe, which the 4 Series is supposed to be a coupe because it is an even number. But we also have the 4 Series Grand Coupe, which I've also test drove, and a review will be coming out in the next few weeks or so. So if you're interested in seeing my thoughts on the Grand Coupe 4 Series, that will be coming. Please subscribe. We also have the 4 Series Convertible, and these are the base 4 Series models. You also have the M4, which they offer as an M4 Coupe or an M4 Convertible. Obviously, we have the convertible, and this is the first ever M4 convertible, so that is pretty cool. All right, now that we went through the trims, let's quickly talk about the exterior of this M4 convertible, and then we'll move on to stuff like the trunk, the engine that powers this thing, the interior, then we'll take it for a drive. But first, obviously, this thing is a red M4. It's called Tornado Red Metallic, and it looks really nice. I'm not a huge fan of red cars myself, but even this thing I think looks nice in the red. We do have a frameless kidney grille, the kidney grille with black trim slats and M4 designation. That big grille and the chiseled hood design really define the front end. We do have the available Icon adaptive LED headlights with laser light. These M side mirrors and side gills complete that sleek profile. Wheels are 19-inch by 9.5 inch in the front, 20 inch by 10.5 inch in the rear. They are Orbit gray wheels and are running 275/35 front and 285/30 rear tires. We do have that noise reducing lightweight top, and it can be raised and lowered in seconds. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we drive it. Around the rear, you have the standard rear diffuser and integrated rear spoiler, and these help channel that airflow for ideal downforce. The taillights are L-shaped LED taillights, and of course, again, an M4 badge. Let's quickly cover the dimensions of the M4 convertible. You have 112.5 inch wheelbase with 189.1 inch total length, 74.3 inches wide, and 54.9 inches tall. The new M4 competition convertible with xDrive is 4.6 inches longer than the model it replaces. The wheelbase has grown by 1.8 inches and its width by 0.7 inches, which makes the new M4 competition 1.4 inches wider than the new 4 Series convertible. And all of that with the convertible has a curb weight of 4,306 pounds. All right, and with that, let's look in this trunk, check out the cargo volume we have here. Easy pop, and as you can see, there is a huge piece right here where the top folds down, so you are losing a lot of trunk space because it's a convertible. Even with that, we were able to fit all of the bags that we needed for this recording, grocery shopping in this, no problem. You can fit a full set of golf clubs in here if that's what you're into. But if you've got a bunch of luggage or anything, it's gonna be a pretty tight fit. With that, let's go check out what's under the hood. All right, and under the hood here, we do have a 3-liter straight 6 Obviously, M-powered engine. It's got a twin-power turbo, 503 horsepower, 479 foot-pounds of torque, and is matched up to an 8-speed transmission. We'll talk more about that transmission and how that power feels as we drive it. But first, let's jump in and talk about the interior and the tech. All right, the first thing I want to talk about in the interior is, much like many BMWs, this is a driver-centric interior. Everything is kind of laid out and focused on the driver. This is the driver's car, and you're probably going to get a little bit less amenities than other premium vehicles, maybe a little bit less than what you might expect from this price point, which we'll talk about later. But let me give you a bit of a tour around. All right, first off, we do have this Tartufo leather interior. It is this brown leather. They are M Sport seats with the illuminated badge for a refined yet sporty atmosphere. It definitely gives it a nice refined look, also very sporty. We've got the heated vents for the back of the neck, so if you're running with the top down and it's chilly outside, you can warm up with that. They're also heated seats. Super comfortable, super nice materials as you might expect. Those materials also carry over into the door and the dash. And we do have a carbon fiber trim here. The center screen is a 10.25 inch screen. We do have BMW iDrive 7.0, which has the capability of running Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, although we don't have Apple CarPlay here. One of the few things that I'll definitely gripe about BMW is that even though the system has it capable, you have to pay extra fees to get Apple CarPlay. Not even sure if that's the same deal with Android Auto, but I do miss my Apple CarPlay. Other than that, it is a great screen, nice features, very responsive. And again, you do have the iDrive here for navigating that screen with a couple of buttons to help you jump to quick menus. But before we look too much down there, let's talk about what's right below that screen, which is your AC and heat controls. You also have your intelligent safety button that will let you configure your safety features here. You can see the heated seat button over here. It's also ventilated. A little further down, we do have our radio controls with the volume. And then below that, you have the big shelf here with wireless charging down here. There's also a USB type A port for interfacing with the screen. And then your cup holders, a little accessory port charger right there. Coming back a bit further, we have our gear shifter. Now this is a bit unique, even for BMW. It's an electronic gear shifter, but it's different than other BMWs that I've driven recently. So it must be a new style that they have. But you have to go over for neutral, over and up, and it stays for reverse. And we do have reverse cameras, including a 360 top down. And you can kind of change your view to get a good view around the vehicle. You can also do a 3D view that will swipe around the vehicle to really give you a good idea of what's around you. Back to the shifter, coming out of reverse, you put it back, it's in neutral, push over, and it's in drive sport. And then you got manual shift mode. Park is a button right there. Then you've got this button right here that will actually change the shift velocity for your shifts. Pretty cool. Continuing through, we have our traction control off, a quick button to turn on the cameras, parking sensors, turning off your auto shut off, big red start stop button, an M mode button, a setup button, and your exhaust, auto hold, electronic parking brake. This is a button for the neck vent for your seats, and then to bring the top down. And again, you can see the carbon fiber, the brushed aluminum, very nice look. Continuing over, we do have this leather-wrapped M Sport steering wheel. Super nice. It is a heated steering wheel, so we do have a heated steering wheel button there. You got the M logo here. Carbon fiber on it, carbon fiber paddle shifters back here. And then you got quick M buttons here, so this will put you into M mode. You got M1 and M2, and then some standard buttons on the steering wheel for interfacing with different things throughout the car, including this 12.3 inch live cockpit that is M focused. So when you hit the M button, You do get a different readout here, which is cool. And obviously there's a lot of configuration and detail that you can see there, but we also have a nice head-up display that displays your speed, the speed of the road that you're on. Can also display other things. It's a pretty good head-up display. But let's talk about one of the coolest things in this interior, and that's the seat belts. They are the M seat belts. So we don't get fancy red or orange seat belts, but we do get black seat belts with red and blue stripes on them for the M. I like that. All right, guys, and with that, let's get this thing out on the road. We'll take it for a drive and talk about it. All right, guys, so the first thing I want to touch on is the comfortableness of the drive here. If you're in comfort mode or not in sport mode, it is a comfortable car to drive. It's a little bit harsh in the suspension, but nowhere near the point where it's uncomfortable to drive. Those big fat tires do make it a little bit more noisy, but again, not horrible at all. And one of the things you get with the M is what's called sharp shifting, so you can adjust your shift if you want it to hold longer or shift faster. And it's the difference between comfortable driving and really on it driving. Also, something new with the xDrive is what BMW considers maximum control. So you can change it from being the 4-wheel drive to a 4-wheel sport to running just 2-wheel drive. So you have a ton of configurability with this thing to really maximize how it feels for your driving experience. And like we mentioned earlier, we do have those M brakes that really make this thing stop when it's time to slow down or come to a stop. Which, if you're going to be putting this thing on the track, one of the most important things are those brakes. So let's quickly dive into the coupe versus convertible debate here. For the M4, if I was buying one, I would definitely opt for the coupe. I think it looks better on the outside. I think it's a little bit nicer on the inside. It's going to be more rigid for taking out on the track. I'm not a huge fan of the 2+2 with convertible look. When I drove the Lexus 500C, I did say that I prefer that in the convertible over the coupe, but that's just because the convertible doesn't take anything away from the Lexus 500C. It actually just adds to it. It just gives you a little bit more experience. Because the 500C isn't a dedicated sports car, this thing being a dedicated sports car, I would definitely opt for the hardtop. That being said, if I was going for a BMW convertible, the Z4 I still think looks fantastic and is one of the best roadster looking vehicles out. So I don't mind the convertible, and like I said, it's a nice hard top that looks and feels like a soft top. It's a cool new thing that they've got for this 2022, but personally, I would prefer the coupe. Finally, we got some fun back roads to go down so we can feel those brakes. Nice turn in, perfect, pushing out, so good. And that wasn't even really pushing it hard. And we're not in M Sport. 0 to 60 in this thing is at 3.6 seconds. That's quick, and we're gonna test that out. But we got to get a little bit further into the country and find a straight road to do so. So let's do that now. All right, we're in sport mode. We're at the fastest shifting. Let's try a 0 to 60. Ready, set, go. 60. Yeah, that's something. Fuel economy, you're looking at 16 miles per gallon city, 23 miles per gallon on the highway, and that's thanks to that turbocharged engine. For me, for the full week, it's been okay, but you're not spending the kind of money for this, and you're not buying this thing worried about fuel economy. And like I showed you, we do have all our great driver assist features, which are fantastic. You can put this thing into cruise control. It'll keep you in the lane. It'll follow the car in front of you. All the modern tech that you would expect from a vehicle in this category at this price, but you're buying the M4 for its drive so that you can drive it. So having it all turned off is fantastic, and you can easily do that with push of a button. Or if you're doing a GT trip, a road trip, getting up on the highway for a long time, turning all that stuff on and having that peace of mind, easily done. Jump on the highway really quickly here. And again, once you're up on the highway, smooth sailing in comfort mode. You do get some wind noise, some road noise from those tires, but to be expected from a vehicle like this. All right, let's go ahead and put the top down. Get some wind blowing in this place. Obviously, you can do this as it's driving. And there you go, tops down. Let's have some fun. So I'm pretty sure there's like an attachable windscreen that you can get that actually this one says it has on the Monroney, but probably because this is a loaner vehicle, it either got lost or they just didn't want to give it to us, which is fine. But that should reduce some of the, a little bit of the wind turbulence. There's obviously no real advantage to having the top down except for you got the open air experience, but if you want that, you don't need the M4 or get the Roadster. Doesn't really take away from how fun this thing can be, but doesn't really add to it either. And by the end of it, my hair is gonna be a mess. And as quick and easily as the top goes down, you can put it back up. While still driving, of course. And it is a pretty quick top. And there you go. All right, guys, now that we've had some fun driving the car, it's amazing. Let's quickly talk about the price, and then I'll give you some of my final thoughts here. So the base price for the M4 convertible is $86,500. That's quite a bit of money, but in BMW fashion, they do nickel and dime you on a lot of the extras in here. In this one, the way that it sits is $104,295. So it's really pushing up there with the E53 from Mercedes, and is definitely a high-end niche market. Much higher than M3s of old, but it's kind of the world we live in today, and there's a lot in here that justifies that kind of money. But with that, let me jump back out. We'll wrap up the video with some final thoughts, and then we'll be done, so let's go. All right, guys, so after a full week of driving the M4, it lives up to its hype. It's a great driving car. It is a monster on the track. It is a fantastic vehicle. I think it looks good, even with this controversial nose. It looks a lot better in person than it does in photos, I think, at least with the proportions of this vehicle. It still can do it for me. That being said, the thing that doesn't do it for me is the price. I did just say that there's enough in there to warrant the price, but I do think it puts it out of the reach of a lot of people, especially me. And while that helps it be more exclusive and more of a thing, it kind of hurts. But when you stack it up against its competition as well, you're looking around the same kind of price, so I completely understand there. But with that, I do think it's a fantastic vehicle, obviously. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think about the M4 convertible in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel. We do a different review every week. Go check out txgarage.com for more written reviews, events, and news coverage. And with that, guys, thanks for watching.